Hello everyone. What happened in the US market last night? Second, what India's Commerce Secretary said about India-US trade discussions and India-EU FTA. And third, updates regarding India's October month trade deficit data. All this we are going to discuss in our regular pre-market report video for today, 18th November 2025 for the Indian stock market in terms of Nifty and Bank Nifty. First, about what happened in the US market last night. During weekend, White House press secretary confirmed that no inflation nor jobs data for the October month will be available. And this lack of economic data reduced the probability of December month rate cut further down. I mean, if Trump government is not releasing the data, it's creating the fear among the investors whether the macros are very worse, which is the reason why Trump administration is not releasing kind of. In addition, as we discussed in the week ahead video, this week Fed FOMC meeting minutes and Nvidia results are due tomorrow. Hence, yesterday US market closed significantly negative. In the end, Dow Jones was down by 1.18%, S&P 500 decreased 0.91% and Nasdaq decreased 0.84%. In case of VIX, it increased to 13% and moved closer to 22.5 from below 20 on Friday closing. Just for info, lot of websites mentioned falling treasury yield also as one of the main reason for the last night US market closing negative. But I don't find treasury yield fell that much. I don't know what all these news websites are mentioning. If anybody knows anything, please let me know in the comment section below. Then about oil. It moved slightly, no major impact. At the time of this video, Brent crude trading at $64 per barrel and WTI crude closed near $60 per barrel. Regarding Indian ADR, as it is, it closed very much mixed. If we calculate the arbitrage, Infosys and HDFC Bank ADR both showing positive 0.5% difference, whereas ICICI Bank and Reliance GDR showing no fresh movement and Wipro showing negative 1% difference. So overall, mixed signals and no clear direction. Then about GIFT Nifty, last night it was very volatile. It increased about 26,100 mark. Then dropped all the way down to 25,975. But early morning it recovered some and traded at 26,008. Equating that with the spot market, for now it's indicating the gap down opening of 30 to 50 points. So those were the things happened in the dollar market. Now coming to new India related info. First, about India's Commerce Secretary's statement on trade discussions. Yesterday, after our market close, India's October month trade data was released and India's merchandise trade deficit increased to near $42 billion from $32 billion in September month. Here, ministry said the increase is mainly driven by the surge in gold and silver imports, which increased 200%, whereas the export to US fell by 9%, which is a bit alarming. Hence, after the data release, India's Commerce Secretary Rajesh Agarwal did the press conference and he said India is continuously engaging in trade-related discussions with US. And in addition, India is in final stage to wrap the bilateral trade agreement with Europe. So both India and Europe expect to finish the India-EU FTA by end of December this year. So if it happens, then it's very positive. Then Commerce Secretary also said in parallel, India is in discussion with Chile and New Zealand for the FTA agreement as well. In addition to Commerce Secretary's statement, and another unnamed official said with US there are two parts of negotiation going on. One with respect to additional and reciprocal tariff and the other long-term deal. In that, one part is completed and the other part, he said, it might take some time, hence potentially both the statements might provide some support today. As a summary, US market closed significantly negative and US VIX jumped 13% to 22.5. This showing the increased fear in the US market mainly regarding AA valuation. Hence, in line with that, Indian ADR and GIFT Nifty indicating the negative gap down opening. However, India's Commerce Secretary and that unnamed official statement is positive from market perspective. Overall, global sentiment is negative due to US data uncertainty and increased fear. Domestically, trade deficit is concerning, but there are reasons to be optimistic. Moving on about institution, in the cash market, after 5 sessions of straight selling, FII turned as net buyers. They net bought for 440 crore rupees, whereas DII also net bought for 1,500 crore rupees. So both FII and DI net buying is positive. Coming to participant-wise open interest analysis, yesterday index future open interest increased marginally 0.4%, whereas on the index options 1.8% call option open interest unwound and 20.7% new put option open interest were added. Because of new put option open interest addition, the PCR ratio increased to 1.14 from 0.93. Then stance-wise in the index options, client holding net 5.8% open interest favoring bullish position, whereas FII and proprietary traders having net 4.7% and 0.6% of their open interest respectively favoring bearish position. In case of future index, client and proprietary traders having 69% and 56% of their open interest respectively on the long side, whereas on the other hand, FII is holding massive 88% of their open interest on the short side. So retail traders are bullish, whereas FII are heavily bearish, and combining option and future index, it seems proprietary traders more of a neutral. Then moving on to the 25 delta risk reversal for today's expiry. It came as negative 0.32%. So on that perspective, it's mild skew but not extreme. And the 25 delta call strike is 26,125, which is 112 points above the spot, and put strike is 25,905, which is around 108 points below the spot. So call and put are almost equidistant from spot. This is very different from Friday's data set where upside skew was much stronger. Overall, very mild bearish skew, but that might be just a hedge, so more of a neutral indication. Here, please note this is the present situation. This could change when market opens. Then, as per stock open interest, Glenmark Pharma, Inox Wind, Zydus Life Science, Mankind Pharma, Supreme Industries and Page Industries are some of the 44 stocks that got an increase in open interest with a negative closing, which indicates the short build-up. On the other hand, Angel One, Indian Bank, CDSL, Hero MotoCorp, AU Small Finance Bank and Policy Bazaar are some of the 82 stocks that got an increase in open interest with a positive price close, which means these stocks got the long build-up. About the things to look out, Capillary Technologies IPO will close for subscription. Other than that, macro-wise, there is nothing major scheduled that I am aware of. Coming technical, Nifty opened 40 points gap up at near 25,950 and was positive throughout the session, then finally closed above the psychological 26,000 mark. Thus, on the daily chart, Nifty formed a bullish candle with a higher low formation, indicating continuation of the positive trend. Nifty not only traded well above all key moving averages, but the short and medium to moving averages also turned upward. In addition, RSI at 65 and MACD is also on the verge of a positive crossover, all indicating strengthening momentum and sustained bullishness. Hence, the trend is likely to remain strong in the short term with the potential to move towards 26,200 to 26,350. On the lower side, support is at 25,800. In case of Bank Nifty, it opened 180 points gap up and tested the 59,000 mark for the first time. However, finally closed below 59,000. Thus, on the daily chart, Bank Nifty also formed a bullish candle with higher low formation. In addition, it closed above the upper Bollinger Band and also traded well above all key moving averages. Furthermore, RSI jumped to 71 with a positive crossover, while MACD also on the verge of a bullish crossover, all indicating continued strength and momentum. Hence, Bank Nifty is likely to test 59,500 initially, followed by 59,900 level. On the downside, strong support is at 58,700 to 58,600 zone. Regarding the options front, the maximum call option open interest was at 26,000 strike, followed by 26,100 and 26,500, with the maximum new call option writing at 26,050, 26,100 and 26,000 strike. On the put side, the maximum open interest was at 25,900 strike, followed by 26,000 and 25,800, with the maximum new put option writing at 25,900, 26,000 and 25,950 strike. Thus, from options data, it's indicated that 26,000 zone is crucial for a move towards 26,100 to 26,200, with immediate support at 25,900 to 25,800. So that's all in this video. Hope you got some information. Please consider subscribing to the channel and liking the video so that it will help me with the algorithm and also motivate me to do more. Please don't make any investment based on this, as I'm not a SEBI registered advisor. I'm doing this for me and viewers' educational purpose only. Thanks for watching.